Good morning, everybody. It's me, Teri Hunter. It's May 17th, 2020. And here we are with messages from your angels by astrological rising sign. Good morning, small wildflowers. Good day, good evening, good life, everybody. I hope everybody's doing well in these transformational times. Okay, so dare I say, because Teri gets this wrong more times than she seems to get it right, but I wrote myself a note. New moon in Gemini on the 22nd. And it's interesting, you guys, because that new moon is going to trine Saturn. Hi, Juan. Good morning. And so from what I've read, this is going to be starting the slow road of recovery. And then we're going to have a lunar eclipse in June. I believe it's in Sagittarius. So we'll see how that plays out. But we had evidence of this recovery this week here in Southern California and Laguna. The beaches are open. I got to actually enjoy hearing people gathering yesterday and laughing and enjoying themselves. Good morning, Angel Mary. Good morning, Nikki Ryan. Good morning, Cece Pups. Good morning, Cywood 60. Carrie, I don't know what that is, KNAFO. Hi, Stephen, CJD. Did I miss anybody? Eladia Mond 888. Well, welcome. I'm so glad you're here from Melbourne. Hi, Cosmo Kid. Okay, Shelly, good morning. All right, so I thought today I would do a little, since we're not doing the Wednesday show, I thought I would start this show by pulling one of the cards from the Ancestors and Angels deck. Good morning, Victor. Good to see you. Just as a sort of like, not trying to duplicate what we did on Wednesdays, but just for general for everybody to see some sort of guidance. And then we'll go into the readings by astrological rising sign. Good morning, Tamika. Okay, so I'm going to just shuffle. I say good morning to Victor. Okay. And I was thinking about, where is my Stephen Stanel been? We haven't seen him since this thing started. I hope he's okay. I'm going to send out some love to him. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, and I don't know if a lot of you were on the Wednesday show, so we're just going to kind of start it like this. We're going to pull one card, and then we're going to look at it together. I want to show it to you and see what you guys see. It's a very cool deck. It is by Kyle Gray. So I'm sure if you go to Amazon, you could find it pretty easy. It may take a month of Sundays to get there, though, because I don't think it's considered essential, although it might be. Okay, cut the deck. Let's see what comes up. We'll see it together. We have the drum, dream and journey. Now, there's not a lot of symbolism in this card. So, oh, CJD, that's sweet that you set your alarm. I want to see, how do you guys interpret this when you look at it? Is it look backwards to you? It looks backwards to me. Hi, Astro Anna. So I'm just going to say, when I look at this, I feel like Spirit is asking us to, when I think of the drum beat, I think of the heartbeat. And so when I think of the heartbeat, I go to the part of the dreaming part. And yes, it's like a world card, but it's also like a dream catcher. If you think about the Native American culture, because a lot of these are Aborigines from various cultures and ancestors. So I feel like here we have a new moon in Gemini. Gemini represents our everyday activities, right? It represents, well, so many things: writing, speaking, teaching, blah, 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 blah. But I think this is a time to, here we are reflecting in all our retrogrades and all of that. So I think maybe I keep hearing in my head, it's time to go to the beat of your own drum. So for all of us, regardless of our astrological dynamics this week, I think Spirit is asking us to look deeper into what makes us happy, what makes us feel fulfilled, and then to move towards that. And as I look at it, I said this, there was a slight bit of symbolism on the card, but if you look at the inner wheel, there's all these little characters and hieroglyphics that almost look like they represent everyday activities, right? So those are the everyday activities as we venture through our world. And also look at the sun and the moon. Do you see all those? Hi, Susie. So I think that this is a really cool card when we think about the idea of a new moon ushering in new energy. It's a Gemini new moon, so it's going to reflect Gemini in energy, Gemini energy. And I think it's about really digging deep into what we want in the midst of this restructuring time for our everydays to look like. So I think that's pretty cool. I really like this deck. I've been playing with it quite a bit, and it's really speaking to me. Okay, so now we're just going to go right into our readings and start with Pisces, as we always do on my show. I need my little crystal. I always keep my little rose quartz heart inside of sitting on my lap when I do this. Okay, here we go. Oh, I like that, Stephen. Wheel of Fortune. Okay. Oh, Susie, enjoy the yoga. That is so good. It's so good for your mind and body. Yoga is a great. Hey, Tebow, welcome. Good to see you. Okay. Pisces, rising, sun, moon, and stelliums. I say stelliums because when you have a cluster of planets in one sign, it's going to have a significant effect upon you. So, okay, here we go. First angel for Pisces is Maya. The second is Archangel Gabriel. The third is Akasha. And the final is Crystal. Where I looked, CJD, it said it was on the 22nd. Now, I go to Astro King when I look real quickly before the show. So that's where I got my information. I'm pretty sure it's right. I wrote it down. Oh, good, Shelley. I'll tell you, I don't read the book often. I mean, I will go and the first time I look at the card, I will read what the definition is. And then subsequent readings, I will let my own intuition and whatever sunk in. I really want to encourage you guys to start to build your own language with spirit. So using sort of the things that the books say when you read, using them as the framing for your house, okay? But you're going to add the drywall, the sheetrock, the beadboard, whatever it is to decorate it the way you think. Okay. I know, CJD, I get to be right instead of wrong on that new moon thing for once. Okay. All right. There's my Taurus moon kind of apologizing in its own way again. All right. Pisces, joining Maya is the Grail Knight. And then we have Archangel Gabriel being joined by the Butterfly card. We have Akasha being joined by the Wealth card, and Crystals being joined by the Love card. Well, this is quite interesting. Okay, so here we have Maya, which represents schooling and education, and then we have the Grail Knight. The Grail Knight, for me, it represents three things on the face of the card. It represents romance, illusion, and seeking the sacred. And to me, that's Lancelot. He's bowing to Excalibur, the sword of truth. And I feel like this is really, learned to me for Pisces. This is an opportunity to really look at your energy and how are you bowing to the truth of your soul, or are you, in some ways, I want to put it this way, because I feel like Pisces is trying to stretch themselves, but there's a bit of a wobble in the energy of Pisces. It's almost as if You're brave and scared at the same time. And I want to say that there's no way to be brave or courageous without a layer of fear. So this is about bowing down to your truth, okay? And this is what you're going to learn. And I'm going to the final position, and then I'll go bring it. I'll go back around, because here is Crystal and the Love card. So this is about having faith and hope, and in your love sector, because this also represents love. Okay, I'm so excited. Pisces, in your love body, it is not necessarily, I don't think this is about being in a relationship right now. I think it's more about the idea of how you want that relationship to look. We just talked about, did I leave this one on top? Yeah, about the drum and beating to your own heart's desires. That's what I think Lancelot is asking. And as you allow yourself to learn deeper, not about cutting things off. It's not about like, well, I really, really wanted to have, I wanted to live with my, I can't think of an example right now. I really want this in a relationship, and this person doesn't really provide that, so I give it up so I can tuck into the relationship. I don't think it's about that. I think it's a little bit deeper, because I think there's a blossoming coming here. And Archangel Gabriel, for me, very much is a Gemini energy, because she talks about having a life's purpose in communications, speaking, teaching, writing, and there's a blossoming here. And then we have Akasha, the spiritual teacher, and the wealth card. Where I'm going with this is I believe that Pisces is learning something about their intimate body, about standing in the truth of what makes them feel happy and loved and fulfilled. And rather than skirting off of it or playing to the illusion that someday it'll change, it's rather about connecting with what you see today and then putting your vision of what you want moving forward, and to stand firm in the unknown. I hope that makes sense, because I feel like I was super choppy. My glasses are a little foggy. A thunderstorm. I think there actually is thunderstorms coming tomorrow, or at least rain. So this is what I want to say for Pisces. So here we have a new moon on the 22nd. New moon ushers in new energy. This new moon is also trining Saturn, okay? So the idea of the things that we want feel like that we have to have a long-term thought about it. We have to have the willingness to stay in the energy and to learn about what is our deepest truth, and then trust at the unfolding as we connect with spirit. Because as we do, Akasha the teacher, and this is the harmonious wealth card, this is where I think you learn something about standing strong, so that in the future, when you come back to a place of unknowing, you have a deeper trust in your ability to manifest when you can't see how it's going to play out. Okay. All right, here we go. We're going to go on to our Aquariuses. Again, that's rising sun, moon, and stelliums. I have Saturn in my natal chart squaring my sun. Well, not it squares it by house. The degree, not necessarily, but I've found that when I resist Saturn, it becomes really, really heavy and depressing. So if I kind of lay back and float, meaning in my mind's eye about what Saturn has to offer me, rather than fighting up against it, it makes it easier to deal with it. So that's what I got. Okay, let's go on to Aquarius. Okay. Tamika, drive safely. We'll send you lots of angels to make sure you're safe on the road during the storm. Okay, here we go. On to Aquarius. Astro Anna, Kobe Bryant had Saturn conjunct the sun. And I don't know what house it was, but it was one of the reasons why he was such a hard-working athlete, and it was a key to his success. So again, we can look at each one of these planets and find hues. Everything's a little bit good and a little bit bad. bad is a relative term. And I think what we tend to do is we categorize. So when we see Saturn, we shiver a bit from the cold that it's going to bring. And when we see Venus, we get very happy. But, both have varying hues. Okay. Meaning Venus can be troublesome in her own way. She can make us feel, or not make us feel, but it could affect our self-worth, our money, depending upon what's going on there. So, don't like workinghardbomb.com. I don't like working hard. I like working smart. That's what I like to do. So maybe that's what Saturn's asking us, is to, woohoo, what's that? Small, did you just send $3? You're so cute. Look at that. I guess we're back in action here on Lada's channel. Things must have gotten, lifted. The Saturn restriction must have lifted. Yes, Patricia. Oh, so good to see you, Patricia S. I have something to tell you. I haven't seen you in the chat for quite some time, and I've been waiting to let you know that you have been awarded or gifted from our tribe's Earth Angel a half-hour free reading with me. So at your earliest convenience, please give me email. I'll put all the information later today in the bottom, but in the information part. But yes, we've been on the outlook for you to see when you show back up. So congratulations on your win. Yes, you won a half-hour free reading with me via Skype or text. Skype or phone. So yes, it's not from me. It has nothing to do with me. I'm just the facilitator. This is an Earth Angel from our tribe who was drawn to certain, to feel compelled to during this time of challenge, to bestow and pay it forward. So here we go. All right. We're going to go on to Aquarius. Rising Sun, Moon, and Stelliums. CJD, there's somebody in our tribe who's here every week who, when the beginning of this challenging restructuring started, I'm not going to say any names, but it's like that beer. This person decided that they wanted to pay it forward and gift some of the tribe members a free reading. So they have purchased them and bestowed them. Okay, so for our Aquariuses, we have Merlina is our first angel. The second is Oceana. The third is Opal. And the final is Yvonne. Thank you, Malcolm. I love this community too. Everybody's so cool and so fun. And even when we get a little fly in the ointment, it stirs it up for us. Okay, here we go. Merlina is being joined by the mystery card. Oceana is being joined by the cat. Opal is being joined by the swan. And Yvonne is being joined by the disruption card. Okay. The first thing I thought when I thought about this for Aquarius is the whole Uranus idea hit me. I know Saturn is the ancient ruler of Aquarius, and that could come into play with the new moon. But it was the idea of the feeling a little alien, I guess is the way I want to put it. Feeling during these times, because Merlina represents confusion. And then the mystery card represents our free will, our choice for me. And Merlina will say, you're confused and indecisive and you don't have enough information. Seek expert advice before making a decision. And I feel like this is a decision of the heart, Aquarius. I feel like this may feel alien to make a decision about what you want from the heart. Because when I look at it, I see Oceana and I see the independence card in the form of the cat. Well, what does Uranus represent? Independence, liberation, freedom. And I feel like while this new moon in Gemini offers us, new energy in our everyday lives, that trining of Saturn is also being willing to look at a bigger picture of what you want down the road and doing the hard work of believing as you move forward, because this is about taking action on your independence. So in the angel's advice, we have Opal saying your children on heaven and earth are safe, but this is the inner child for me. And then here's the swan. The swan is about transformation, but there is a ton of transformational cards in this deck here, but this particular one comes to my intuitive gifts, transforming from a place that I cannot see, because there is vulnerability in the midst of this disruption. I feel like for Aquarius, you're coming to some sort of fork in the road where you're going to assert your own individual viewpoint. Some of you may be ending relationships, excuse me, and I don't mean just intimate relationships, but relationships that are not authentic to where you want to be or what you want to experience. And this is where it's funny, because none of these cards are love cards for me, but this confusion and making a choice feels more like, it doesn't feel like an outside confusion. It feels like, I want to make a decision that doesn't go with the pack. And if I make that decision, it could very well disrupt things that I'm very vulnerable to. But then there's a part of me that must express myself for who and what I am, and however that is. And if for some reason you've been feeling oppressed, I think you're going to want to break free from that. So while we have this new moon, and I'm not saying you're all going to be running out of your homes, I feel like this is another deeper layer of restructuring. So Aquarius may be thinking, initially, oh my gosh, my job, my this, my that. And then this may be taking us into a deeper level, is if I'm restructuring my job or my professional life, where do I really want to put my time? Years ago, when I was in my late 20s, I went through, I don't even really remember the details, but I had lost my job of some kind. And I think I had been working like at B of A or something like that. And it just was like mind-numbingly not me. And when I lost my job, I decided to try to work in Hollywood. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but it was something I wanted to do. I thought to myself, if I'm going to work, I want to do something fun that I like. And Spirit is amazing when I put my intention out there, because they start to open doors, or they start to put thoughts in my head. Now, my job is to be vulnerable to taking action on those random thoughts or those feelings. And I ended up temping in Hollywood for many years, or not many years, but temping is how I got my foot in the door. And then I worked on a show with quite a famous director now. For 7 years, I worked in Hollywood. It was wonderful. I worked with Matthew Perry before he was on Friends, played softball with him on a league. So I really I'm telling you these silly stories is because I want Aquarius to feel a sense of excitement about being vulnerable to disrupting the pattern, and to start to realize that you're making choices from a heart place based on how you want to feel independent and allowing for your transformation. Okay. When I worked in Hollywood, I actually worked for a director. So I was his assistant, but we went all over the place. We did all sorts of pilots and TV shows, and I would just, I was like him, but I was his assistant. And then I wanted to be a writer, and I was trying to be a writer. And then I kept reading everybody's horoscope in the office and reading their tarot cards. And I never quite became a writer. I became me. So here we are. I started to really trust and beat to my own drummer. So you guys that are just coming in, I pulled one card for the tribe today. And this is the drum. And to me, it very much looks like a dream catcher, but a lot of the cards have a similar patterned type thing here for what they're applicable to. And this is Dream and Journey. So I think that was very applicable for Aquarius. Let's go on to Capricorn now. Okay. I love these new ancestor cards. There's just, the artwork is so beautiful, and I've always been very drawn to indigenous cultures. Um, like some people studied the Egyptians. I wasn't drawn towards the Egyptians as much as I was like Australian Aborigines, Native Americans, people who wore loincloths. Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. Oh, Ellie Diamond. Oh, now I see it. Ellie Diamond 888. I was reading it weird before. I'm so glad the first time you're enjoying yourself. We love to have people. We love creating community here. So that's what we do. All right, here we go. Capricorn, Crystal is our first angel. Our second is Sonia. The third is Aurora. And the final is Isaiah. Oh, bomb.com. I loving you right now. Everything I do is not always so good, but I try. Okay. Crystal is being joined by the mystery card. A lot of us are going to make some choices now. Sonia is being joined by the swan. Unbelievable. I just shuffled. Did you see me? Aurora is being joined by the death card, which is always transformation. It's never physical death. And Isaiah's being joined by Merlin. Wow. Okay. So this is the great thing about Saturn and Capricorn. You work hard. You know how to work hard. You like to work hard. You enjoy organization and things. I feel like I keep calling you Saturn. I feel like for Capricorn, Crystal is saying have faith and hope because there's more on the horizon that you can't see. Through this whole last, I don't know, at least 6 months, I've been talking to Capricorns about transformation, about coming from their heart. And I feel like this is what you're starting to really do, is actually take into consideration, what is my choice? And I'm going to make that choice regardless of whether I can see the road ahead, even though I know there's a road ahead. Because here is, we see it. We see that Sonia represents a deceased loved one. And then there's this transformation of my psychic powers, my psychic gifts, my natural. This is the thing. The word psychic makes it sound magical of some kind. We are all intuitive beings. It's like a singing voice. Some of us are very talented naturally, and some of us have to work a little bit harder. And then some of us kind of are just a little flat. But that doesn't mean that we are not in an evolutionary process to develop that on a soul's level. So for Capricorn, this connection to spirit, this allowing for this transformation, literally is changing you, and you are flying high right now. Don't descend, because you will soon inspire others. And I don't think you'll inspire them by your actions. I think you'll inspire them by your attitude, by how you've like sort of gone from this maybe a little bit of a rigid road of having to see where you're going, or having to know where everything was going to be, or being a little bit restrictive or rigid or rule oriented. And now you're opening up a little bit. It feels like maybe the rules aren't changing, but they're adapting, because Isaiah is saying it's time to give birth to new ideas and new situations. And then here is Merlin representing the alchemy, the justice and the balance of your choice to stay in the unknown, yet it's a knowing. The knowing is not coming from what you see from your eyes, but from what you know inside of your heart. And then from that heart place, spirit just starts to open things up. I hope that made sense. To me, it felt really great. So let's think about this for 1 second. For Capricorn, your ruling planet is trining this new moon. So trines are harmonious aspects. They work in favor. If we think about Saturn asking us I had mentioned this before, it's a being energy. I think Saturn is really asking us to look at what is our belief, what is our disposition, what is our attitude as we move into this situation. That is where the real transformation can come in. That's where I feel like everything starts to come together. Because as I'm looking at my being energy and doing the hard work that Saturn is requiring of me, I'm being rewarded. And this is all part of that transformation, this whole worldly restructure. Okay, here we go. Malcolm, right now I'm using 2 decks. That's what I always do, but I've started to incorporate the Kyle Gray deck, which, here, I have the box. I can show you that. Hold on. This is the Kyle Gray deck for those of you that want to check it out. And we can talk about it. It's a really lovely deck. Angels and Ancestors. And then I use Doreen Virtue's Original Messages from Your Angels deck. As you can see, I've had it for years. It's pretty worn out. And then I use a deck, and I threw the box away. I believe it's called The Legend of Avalon by Colette Baron Reed. And that's this deck right here. And that's based on The Legend of Camelot. Okay. Yes, very Native American. There's a lot of Aborigines. There's some fun there's a Native American culture on the cover, but there's like some cool Aborigines, and then there's Egyptian gods and goddesses in this deck. It's super fun, super fun. Okay, we're going on to our Sagittariuses. Okay, I like to start with the angels. CJD, I happened to take Brian Coulter's past life webinar yesterday. It was very interesting. And I'm looking forward to playing with some of the charts I have to see if I can weave a tale with my Neptune Mercury conjunction in the 8th house. Okay. That would be so fun to have a picnic. We could do a Zoom picnic. I've got some, I'm going to start to implement some of these things now, things coming online for me. Okay, Sagittarius. Our first angel is Crystal. My goodness gracious, it's so funny. You guys see me shuffle and these same angels come out every week. Our next is Grace and Antoinette. The third is Archangel Raphael, the healing angel, physical healing, and then Oceana. Oh, Margot, how fun. Very cool. I think you'll enjoy that. He's pretty interesting. I love the whole evolutionary astrology thing. I'm really, maybe it's all my Mars energy, but I like the idea of moving, not staying in sort of one place as the world shifts, around us. Okay, Crystal's being joined by the Disruption card, Sagittarius. Grace and Antoinette is being joined by the Serpent. Archangel Raphael is being joined by the Water Fairy. And Oceana is being joined by the Dragon. Okay, so when I look at this Sagittarius, Crystal says has hope. There's more on the horizon that you can't see. And then there's the Disruption card. As I'm looking at this and I'm thinking to myself, Crystal is coming up a lot so far. And I think that there is a theme here for all of us, including Sagittarius, rising sun, moon, and stelliums, is that we are in a very disruptive time right now. There is no structure is being restructured. And I think that Crystal is saying, Sagittarius represents the connection to the angelic realm, foreign ideas, foreign places, foreign people, foreign travel, but it represents a higher wisdom, a divine wisdom. And I feel like that's where Spirit is saying to connect to the essence of Sagittarius. I don't think this is about your being disrupted. I mean, obviously we're all being disrupted to a certain level, but to me, this is really about keeping that eye on the prize during the disruption and having compassion for self and for others as we shed a new skin. The serpent is about healing. It's about knowledge. But I really feel like, because when I looked at this, I thought too, there could be the potential that some Sagittariuses are with and around people who are having emotionally being very taxed by this situation, whatever their dynamic. Not necessarily doesn't mean it's physical per se. It doesn't mean that they're physically ill, but losing your job and projecting into the future, how will this all play out? Because here is Archangel Raphael, the angel of healing. And then this is the emotions card. This is my feelings and my intuitions. And I feel like Sagittarius, I normally say to have compassion for self, which one should always have, but it might be a time to have compassion for others as they writhe slightly more dramatically than you do. Because of that connection to the angelic realm, your faith feels more anchored. And I say that because in the final position, we have the dragon. This represents our power and our strength. And then here we have Oceana saying to take action, lovingly take action in your power and your strength. So where we're going with this is, so we see this new moon and it is squaring. Square is a challenging aspect. It's 4 houses. They're 4 houses apart, and they're creating not quite the same tension as a opposition, but it's like turning a sharp corner in some respects for me. So I feel for Sagittarius that it may be easier for you to think from a high-minded place, to trust a bigger picture, and maybe potentially that there's people around you that are not quite as trusting. And so your opportunity this week is to have compassion for others as their emotions find their own balance. Squares are hard aspects that create challenges, but I want to say this. I believe that the natal chart is the soul's contract, the soul's intention for this time, this lifetime. So if there are squares in your chart, then those are challenges that you have agreed to walk through, because they're going to take you to places that your soul wants to go. So don't resist your squares, don't resist your oppositions, and don't lay your laurels on your trines, because your trines, too many of those, and that's not too good either, because that can make you kind of lazy. I have a niece who has more trines than anybody I've ever seen in my life. I think in her whole birth chart, there are 2 red lines. And I cannot even tell you how my observation of her life path and how she was treated as a child compared to her siblings and how that's reflected. It's pretty wild to me, really. And that's the great thing about being a little bit older, because you have all this life behind you that you can then see, what they say is hindsight is 20/20. Okay, here we go. Okay. We're going on to our Scorpios now. Scorpio, rising sun, moon, and stelliums. I have 2 grand trines, and Saturn is one of the elements, and it's up in my 10th house. And I think about that sometimes, and I say to myself, I think Saturn is working for me in this lifetime. I mean, I know Saturn is squaring my sun, and I know it's loosely squaring my Mars, but at the same time, when I look at the trines, and the trines are with my moon, Pluto, and Venus, because there's 2 of them, there's a lot of transformation that it almost feels like when I look at my chart that if I play to my strengths, then what appears to be a challenging element will end up being a rewarding element. So I've kind of surrendered. And then when I get scared, I think, oh, I have those 2 grand trines all in earth signs. I'll be okay. 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 Here we go, Scorpio. Our first angel is Layla. Our second is Merlina. The third is Azure. And the final is Xana. Thank you, bomb.com. Tebow, you good? You having something emotionally challenging? We'll send you some good energy. Send everybody some good energy. I'll tell you, there's so many. I'll admit it. I like to watch television. I don't put the television on during the day, but in the evening, I like my home shows, and I like I like watching my Property Brothers and all that kind of stuff, and The Voice, and now the commercials have been we're being peppered with compassion, which is great, but it's also kind of sad, right? I mean, it's like either way, we're either afraid of what we're hearing on the news, or we're showing compassion for others because we're afraid. So every step has some sort of this fear on it that we're walking right now. So I feel like as we allow ourselves this emotional roller coaster ride, you could feel great 1 second, the next minute you could be like, that's at least how I've been. There's a commercial about a woman, and you hear the voiceover of an older woman, and you see all these mothers, and it's almost like the screen is split. Today, mothers giving birth, and then there's sort of this antique feel to some of the pictures. And then as you get through the commercial, you find out that it's a woman who's in her 90s or something, whose mother gave birth to her during the Spanish influenza. And it's really, I'm telling you, it's a tearjerker, but it's wonderfully inspiring. So I guess part of what I'm trying to say is that everybody, and Scorpio, it could be, you're very, very intense and very rich and savory in your emotions, and you feel things. So this whole little ride, try to just be flexible and don't judge. Don't judge. Okay. Layla is being joined by the stag. Merlina's being joined by the deer. There's a couple. The Azure's being joined by the wind fairy, and Xana's being joined by the goblin. Okay. So for Scorpio, this week, the stag is about leadership. Layla is about taking time and connecting with spirit through the elements of nature. So I want to offer this because I'm going to say this lovingly, because I want you to ask yourself if you're in some way standing in a prideful place. Whether you're right, I'm not asking that, because there is something going on here with the ego and you're being protected. So I want to offer it this way. This may be a little bit of a challenging time because I'm going to give you an example. Let's say you're a person who is not really panicked about the dynamics of the world right now. Let's say you feel healthy and strong and you want to go out in the world and just act like yourself, right? And then there's people around you who are having the opposite experience. They're very fear-based, they're very worried, and they are combative. That's the way I want to put it. Because I feel like don't get stuck. Don't get stuck in being right. Let them be whatever they want to be. And you connect with spirit in a way that will help lead you out of this situation, or lead you into a place where you feel light. Because in the opportunity of the obstacle is Merlina and the deer. Now, oftentimes I see the deer as a deer in the headlights, scared, paralyzed in fear. And then Merlina is saying there's confusion here. I don't know that I think Scorpio is that confused. I feel like this is an environmental thing around you in some ways. I feel Scorpio has a certain sense of clarity. And I say that because in the angel's advice is Azure saying your desired outcome will happen in the near future. Have faith and don't try to force anything. And then we have the wind fairy, which to me is, sometimes I'll think of it as analysis paralysis, but I actually feel like this is really more about your own particular thoughts, your own thoughts. And when I go in relation to your opportunity, your obstacle, this is like, I almost feel like there's something counterintuitive about this energy right now. It doesn't feel to me like Scorpio is necessarily scared. It feels like there's a sense of strength coming through. And that sense of strength is you're being protected. Now it's about watching where, I want to put it this way. I'm going to just say it straight out. Let's say somebody is just completely Corona crazy. All right. They just are convinced that everything is going to hell and back, and you don't know how they're going to course correct it. Don't try to stop them. You could try to rationalize them. You could try to tell them what's going on. You could try to appease their fears. I don't think it's going to happen. I think they have to walk through their own process. So I feel like your ego will be protected from being bruised because, again, this feels like people that are in your world, people that you care about. And maybe it's the opposite. Maybe you're the super scared person and people around you are trying to coach you. Don't try to convince them that you're right. Just let everybody have their own journey through this time. That's what I feel like this is saying. I hope that made sense. Okay, let's go on to our Libras. Rising Sun, Moon, and Stallions. Okay. Thank you, Juan. Thank you, bomb.com. Thank you, Stephen, for giving us the all those little details that I don't have. Venus is in Cancer squaring Saturn in Libra. That so speaks to me about my self-worth and learning about my self-worth. Okay, here we go. Oh, yes, Tebow. I'll make it a good one. I need it too, my fellow Libran. Okay, give it a good shuffle. Okay. Our first angel for Libra is Francesca. Our second is Layla. Our third is Archangel Michael. And our final is Oceana. You guys watch me shuffle. I tell you, I shuffle. Hi, Mali Dama. Welcome. Glad you could join us. Did I say hi to Margot? I think I did. And Malcolm, of course. I think I did. Okay. Joining Francesca for Libra is the Wasp. Joining Layla is the Joy card. Joining Archangel Michael is the Eagle. And joining Oceana is the Fire Fairy. Okay. So we know that our first murdering hornets, I know, aren't they? I think there's something about them right there. Okay, I want to say it this way, because I don't think that this is actually about us Libras, myself included, being stung. I think this is really, Francesca says, what do you visualize right now? Focus on that. Negativity will block your progress. And the wasp is, yes, this is a stingy time right now, you guys. It's a very, I look at this wasp right now, I actually don't feel like we're in the where Libras are jealous and angry and looking for retaliation. I don't think that at all. I think it's the opposite. I think Libra is like, hey, kumbaya, people, calm down, relax. Let's all love each other. Because I think we're sick of the sticky, stingy, nasty, weird stuff that we're having to go through right now. So, Libra, this is about joy. It's about finding your joy in any given moment. It's about doing what you love. And this is the opportunity and or the obstacle. I want to say it this way. Many of us are still in housebound, okay? And Sarah's space, I just want to feel good. Exactly. And I think that this spending time, Layla to me right now is, I think about when she talks about spending time in nature to connect with God and the angels, but I can hear nature when I'm in my house. I can hear, I'm more aware of the crows when they're doing their cawing, and I'm aware of the smells of the ocean more. I'm making choices to turn towards what brings me joy versus what is actually really stingy and kind of hard to deal with right now. Because in the angel's advice is Archangel Michael and the connection to the angelic realm. And this is about the opportunity to have courage, to be joyful, to move. When I say moving towards your joy, you guys, I'm not talking about like, let me take a step, let me like literally move my body. It's more of an internal permission to be happy when things are crappy, or to look for the bright side of the rainbow. And if anybody can do that, Libra can do that. So we talk about the new moon trining Saturn. Okay, Saturn likes to be in Libra, right? It's, I believe it's exalted. Stephen, is it not exalted in Libra? And using this energy of the new moon trining Saturn is about my being energy, and not to fall prey to everybody else's being energy. It's almost like if you're around a bunch of cranky people, or people are not happy, do you have to join them, or can you kind of be your own person and be like, okay, I'm good, I don't need to be sad, I can find that rainbow after that storm. I'm a Libra. That's what I do. I balance things out. I look at things and I find the diplomacy. I find I don't know. My words aren't coming out really good, but I think you guys are getting what I'm trying to say. We it's our job to put the scales where they're supposed to be. So here, Oceana, take action, and you're in touch with your truth, and there's creative action and optimism in the form of the fire fairy. So I think, and Thibaut, this is what I want to say, my fellow Libran. I don't think this is about other people. I think, well, yeah, I do think it's about other people, but it's about us allowing us Libras, rising sun, moon, and stelliums, to stand in our harmony. Thank you, Margot. I was looking for another adjective and I couldn't find it. To being able to be okay with what is not okay right now. It's to be hopeful and know that we're going to move beyond this. That's what creative action and optimism is. And so while the wasp did come out, it feels very much like an environmental energy. And that Libra is going to be, some people just may think you're just being naive. You're just naive. I don't think you're being naive. Our immune systems are a vibration just like everything else. So happiness creates a high vibration, which is a repellent to lower energies. All right, that's it for Libra. How do you feel, Thibaut? Did that work for you? Who else is Libra in there? I haven't seen. Oh, anybody else? Okay, here we go. We're going to go on to our Virgos. You know, CJD, it's not about getting it. It's about allowing yourself the privilege of doing your best in any moment. You know, we're all fabulously flawed. The other day, okay, my patience level has been like this for noise. For the last 2 years, the changes, my access, forget it, I won't go into that, but whatever. My environment has been extremely loud, noisy, and disruptive. And it feels like people at 3 o'clock in the morning are walking around talking like they're deaf. And I lost my cookies the other night. Literally, some guy, my neighbor, woke me up in the middle of my sleep. And I'm just like, I got up, I put on my robe, I ran out. I was like, "Rawr, don't you know people live here?" And he's like, "You're crazy." And I've had more people tell me I'm crazy lately. And the reason I tell you that is because even as I sit here and I channel all this stuff from the angels, I still have my moments and I still lose my cookies. But do I identify with that moment as being who I am? No, it's just one part of me. It's that Aries rising. And I have to be gentle with myself in some ways and know that, you know, the stars and the moon are also contributing to my impatience. So I'll take a moment. And so it's about making that choice. Okay, I screwed up over there. I'll be all right over here. That's it. Sag has been done. Yeah, I go backwards, everybody. I go from Pisces to Aries. I am on Virgo now, and I'm going to try not to talk so much, but I can't help it. I have no planets in Gemini, by the way. And my Mercury is in Scorpio, so you'd think I would stop talking. It would like make it less, but unfortunately, I think it makes it more. Okay, Virgo, rising sun, moon, and stelliums. Big shuffle here. Okay, our first angel is Aurora. The second is Ray. The third is Astera. And the last is Isaiah. Rocio, I believe, or yeah, I think that's right. Yes, I was born on a full moon, or the day after a full moon. I think it was a full moon. All right, here we go. Virgo. Joining Aurora is the communications card. Joining Ray is the joy card. Joining Astera is the king. And joining Isaiah is the eagle. Okay. I love this. Okay. So when I looked at Aurora and the communications card, the first thing I thought was, this is the Gemini energy, okay, right now. And here's Aurora saying, you're flying high right now. Don't descend. You may threaten others, which means you're breaking the box of thought and doing things when they think you can't do them. And you will inspire them. So, and here's the communications card. Yes, I could say this is the way you're communicating to yourself, but I think it's Gemini activities. I think it's about, as you, Virgo, allow yourself to pursue the things of your heart and move yourself. Like when I say move, again, I'm talking about first we start with my being energy and then I take my actions, because I'm connecting to the idea of Virgo being ruled by Mercury, which rules our communications, which rules our writing, the things that we teach, the things that we speak. And it feels to me like this is about allowing yourself the privilege of birthing those ideas that you have, communicating those ideas, starting to put them down on paper. And I say that because I feel like there are writers in the group that are Virgos, creative writers. There are people that are endeavoring other creative activities, whatever they are. Again, that Gemini energy is everyday activities, because it's time to give birth to new situations and new ideas. And there's the connection to the angelic realm. This is the final position for Virgo. So the giving birth to new ideas, remember, when we're giving birth, it's a process. The baby's not out yet, because in our opportunity or obstacle, we have the joy card and we have Ray. Now, on the face of the card, Ray will say, yoga and exercise are essential to your well-being, but I don't see it that way because she's sitting in a meditative position with her eyes closed. She's got her power chakra, her heart chakra, and her throat chakra all coming out of her third eye, connecting to spirit. And there's the joy card. I feel like this is for Virgo. This is really about the opportunity is to connect with spirit for that sense of security that you like for your everyday activities, but then to also start to express them with joy. Because when I come to the angel's advice, I have the king and Astera. The king here can represent male energy. I don't see it that way here. I see it as karma. I see it as it is your karma to be joyful, to express yourself as you want to be creative in your life, and to reach for the stars with your dreams and your desires, and not to compromise in your being energy. So that's where you go back and you use this dynamic of, it's okay for me to think different than other people. It's okay for me to think I can thrive in a time when others are not. It's okay for me to think I can be what I want to be in this world. And for the creative people who love to write, sing, act, dance, truly express themselves in Venusian ways, it may be challenging at this time to give viability to that path. And that's where the communications come in, because as you give viability to your own path, spirit opens the doors to start the process. And sometimes that process is a random phone call from somebody you haven't talked to in a while, who tells you they met somebody who, oh my goodness, may be able to help you with this kind of thing. You really can't micromanage spirit into how they will bring a dynamic. Our job as humans is to put our intention there, and then to remember the law of allowing, which is once a clue, an opportunity, a stepping stone shows up, step on it, open the door, walk through it. Okay. And it will work out. All right, here we go. On to our Leos. All righty. Thank you, Juan. Okay, here we go. Leo, rising sun, moon, and stelliums. Give it a good shuffle. Small steps, that way you can acclimate yourself to your bomb.com. I agree. When you take small steps, then you get to acclimate yourself to the belief, which is the vibration, which then draws in another experience, which supports it, the next step. And that's how the momentum starts getting built up. Okay, Leo. Our first angel is Aurora. You saw me shuffle for like a minute. Oceana, take action. Here we go. It's running theme here. Crystal, have faith and hope. And there's Chantal, our romance angel. The challenge, we must acclimate to our own ideas, because you guys will see people like that win the lottery. Okay, they buy their tickets, they win the lottery, and then they're broke in a year. It's because during the process of buying those tickets, they were never really acclimating to their abundance. And then when the abundance comes in, there's probably a vibrational wobble where they're not used to accepting or being able to take in and absorb that kind of abundance. So really thinking about what we want to endeavor. And then our job in our being energy is to vibrationally acclimate to our own vision so that spirit can come in. No, I'm doing Leo right now, Vicki. I just talk too much. I don't mean to talk too much. It's just how I roll. I talk all the time like this. I bet I talk in my sleep. Only the dog would know. God bless the dog. Okay, woo. All right, here we go. Leo, Leo, Leo. Okay, joining Aurora is the focus card. Joining Oceana is Merlin. Joining Crystal is the Goblin. And joining Chantal is the Stag. Okay, Leo. Leo, traditionally fifth house, love, romance, children, pleasure. Here we have the focus card and Aurora saying you're flying high right now. Don't descend because you will soon inspire others. I always think of Aurora as breaking the box of thought. It's not that you're ever, literally threatening somebody. But I want to say this because when I look at this for Leo, I feel I'm going to go to the final position because we have Chantal, the angel of romance, saying that a new romance is coming either through reignited passions in an existing relationship or through a new relationship coming in. And then here's the Stag. Now, the Stag is a card of leadership, but if you guys look at him, he kind of bellows, right? He's kind of bellowing up into the snowy skies. And oh, you know what? I just want to change my mind. I think he's calling his mate. When I look at this, okay, Leo, I think this might be just about romance. And you breaking the box of thought saying, you know what? That focus card is like on a joyful place of romance, a joyful place of intimacy, a joyful place of relation with another. And here we have Merlin and we have Oceana. This isn't the opportunity or the obstacle. This is balance through pressure. This is a karma card. This is a justice card. And this is Oceana saying to take action. I feel like Leo, this may be the potential that Leos are not in a relationship right now because this is the angel's advice. Crystal saying have faith and hope because there's more on the horizon. And then there's the ego. So I feel like for Leo, this might be a time, a new moon in Gemini, allowing yourself the opportunity to say, I really do want to either this. I'm resisting myself going to intimacy because my logical mind is telling me that we're under lockdown. This can't happen. It's hard, but I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure this is straight up about romance. And I'm pretty sure this is straight up about calling forth a mate and focusing in on it, even though there's nobody around you right now. Maybe there's no romance. Maybe you've been somehow separated from someone, but this is a bigger picture. And in the angel's advice and in your opportunity, it's to realize that somehow through this trying time, that's what Merlin, this is balance through pressure, you're going to see results that are favorable. That's the way I want to put it. So for my Leo rising sun, moon, and stelliums, I think that there is romance cooking, brewing for you. I don't think it's coming up this week, but I think moving forward into the summer months towards your birthday, you should start to pay attention to that part of your body, your intimate body, and what you want and desire. And I think it would be great to use this new moon as an opportunity to really communicate that to spirit and get real with it. Because I do think on some level, you're going to have to take a leadership position in your love life. And that's by putting focus on it. Okay. So we're going on to our Cancers. Shelley, I want to say, offer spirit an invitation to bring in somebody that will be of like-mindedness, somebody that will have similar interests in the things that you want. And it's an invitation and an invitation. The idea of seeking out a relationship, there's a resistant energy to it. It's like something is lost. And when you're lost, you're in the vibration of loss. So the invitation will be an opportunity for you to change your internal vibration, which will then bring things in. Okay, welcome, Vicki Pullen. Okay, here we go. Cancer, rising sun, moon, and stelliums. Hi, Richie. Welcome. Are you a crab? Looks like it. Okay. I like to call you moon children. I think that's fun. Oh, I want to offer this to you, Shelley, and everybody else that is inviting in love. I think when you're talking to spirit, why don't you ask them, tell them you're looking forward to the reunion, because I'm pretty sure that the love that you're inviting in is a love that you've contracted for, a love that you have at this time in your life said, I'm going to be one of those souls that shows that as I progress through my lifetime, I don't age, I thrive. I have more opportunities to integrate the wisdoms I've gained, and then to use that to be intentional about the path that I walk. So when you're thinking about love, because we all have a big story. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you never dated anybody in your whole life. That is a story. So when we kind of put our story over here, and then we say, I'm inviting in this reunion of souls. I'm inviting in, because you know what a reunion is? It's a party. It's fun. Whenever we're in a fun vibration, we're manifesting in a really great way. Okay. I'd like to start with my angels for Cancer. Here we go. Oh, thank you, Richie. Okay, here we go. Layla is our first angel. The second is Aurora. Oh my goodness. I don't know how many times she's come out today. Holy moly. And there's Oceana again. Oh my goodness. Oh, and there's Celeste. There's a new energy. Okay. Here we go. All right. Layla is being joined by the King. Aurora is being joined by the Eagle. Oceana is being joined by Perception card. And Celeste is being joined by the Wind Fairy. Okay. For my moon children. Layla talks about spending time in nature to connect with God and the angels. And the King will represent male energy, but it also represents justice. It represents things pertaining to the law. I think of this sometimes as very much a Saturnian energy. Not that the King is restrictive or that he's over authoritative, but I think of it more like, again, I go back to the contract I made in this lifetime, as evidenced by my natal chart. The people that have looked at my chart in my love sector, my love life, always kind of, I can always feel this sort of, where they do this, how can I make this sound better than it looks? And I can always feel that there's somewhere I have some sort of perfectionist in my love body, whatever it relates to, Virgo, 6th house Venus with Pluto right there. And sometimes I get the feeling like they think I'm never going to find my person, never going to invite my person in. Well, I disagree with that, because I know that karmically I have created a contract, and oftentimes I'm going to have to believe a story that nobody else believes in order to make my life be what I want it to be. I'm saying this to you, Cancer, because this is time for you to kind of go into your being energy. I feel like this is Saturn asking you to believe and connect with spirit about the very things that you want. And I say that because I'm going to go to the final position. Celeste represents a new home or a new place of employment, but I think a certain way. So wherever you put my body, I'm going to think that way. So unless I shift the way I'm thinking, may not necessarily shift into a happy place just because I moved somewhere else. So, and then here we have the wind fairy. This is a shift in the way you're thinking that's going to bring in new happiness. This is coming for you, Cancer, at a very specific time on your journey here in this lifetime. And I think it's because you've contracted to spend more time reflecting on what works and what doesn't work. And I say that because it's time, Cancer. It's time for you to start to fly high and to allow yourself to break the box of thought that's been given to you and take the thoughts that work for you and move them together, integrate them, because this is the connection to the angelic realm. But it also represents a certain amount of integrity. And I feel like, Cancer, in many ways, your integrity for the family can be, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the one. So it is karmically a time when you can really shift the way you're thinking so that you can allow more love into your life. And I know there's no love cards here, but I have the perception card in the Angel's Advice, and I have Oceana saying to lovingly assert myself towards what I want. I feel like I've been feeling for quite some time now that Cancers there's a certain melancholy around that sign for me because of the idea of home and the idea of family and the idea of being together and wanting it to be like a Norman Rockwell, painting or something. And I feel like as you shift your way of thinking, and that's opening up your perception, it's like, it's rather than, it's because Cancer sometimes, think about it. It can feel a little insecure because if you're a mom and you've got children, you're always going to worry a little bit about those children, their safety, their viability, their thriving on that planet. So I feel like for my Cancers, this is a karmic time for you to connect with spirit so you can really anchor in this way of thought that serves you. And you can sort of see how your own perceptions, as they are connected to spirit, as they are connected to thoughts that may not be what everybody else thinks. Because I really think that that's what this is about. So new moon, trining Saturn. My viewpoint on Saturn is asking me to look at my being energy, because my being energy is where I take the steps of my actions. And Saturn wants me to take actions where I am successfully working hard and being diligent. And in that diligence, my being energy will, because think about it, if people who take their actions based on fear usually trip over their own feet. So that's where I'm kind of going. I hope that made sense. And I'm going to move on to Gemini. My goodness, you guys, thank you so much. Look at all that. I love seeing this. It's been such a long time since we've seen these bars. And I feel the love like 20 million times more than I feel the money, I have to tell you. So thank you so much. Doesn't exist a tip button. I don't know, I don't know what, I don't see it from the way you guys see it. So I don't know what any of that, I mean, you just kind of pop up. I don't know if you guys remember the first time somebody tipped me, I jettisoned them out of the room because I didn't know what it was. It was so funny. Oops. Okay. On to our Geminis. It's your moon. Oh, I haven't had a coffee in a while, CC Pups. I've been doing my celery juice in the morning. And I've been doing my ginger tea and my and lemon. I'm thinking during this lockdown, it's kind of a good time to try to detox. So I've been doing this morning. I bought the Medical Medium's Cleanse to Heal book. And one of them is a morning routine, so that in the afternoon I can have what I want to eat and maybe whatever. So I'm just trying to do that. Are you getting on me, small wildflowers? I'm hiding my PayPal. Okay, here we go for our Geminis. This is your moon. Astera says, reach for the stars with your dreams and desires and don't compromise. Crystal, have faith and hope because there's more on the horizon. Oceana, oh my goodness, you guys, this is unbelievable to me. You see me shuffle the cards. Oceana, take action. You're in touch with your truth. Move forward on your truth. And then Isabella saying, yes, the timing is right. Okay. Shelley, I'm not really, I can't really say I'm doing a morning cleanse is the way I'm kind of thinking of it, because he has a lot of different cleanses. And honestly, I really can't go into just fruits and vegetables right now. It's too hard for me. So I figure if I'm just good in the morning, if I just do the morning thing and the morning routine, that will help my body do whatever it needs to do for the rest of the time. And I can feel the difference. I really can. The problem is sticking to it for more than a couple of weeks, because when I feel good, then I start to want to revert back and go get my coffee. Yeah, YouTube takes 50% actually, but that's okay. Because it's not about the money, it's about the love I feel. I got to tell you guys, so awesome. Pardon me. Okay. All right, Gemini, joining Astera is the restriction card. Joining Crystal is the forgiveness card. Joining Oceana is Merlin. And joining Isabella is the Baird. Okay. The minute I saw the restriction card came out, I felt like it was the Saturn influence that's trining the new moon. And I want to say it this way, because Astera says to reach for the stars for your dreams and desires and don't compromise. This is never about how it's going to play out. It's never about you knowing the road, knowing the steps. So I want to put it this way. Earlier, I mentioned that I think that Saturn, in many ways, is asking us to look at our being energy, because our being energy is the energy with which we take our actions. And Saturn wants us to work hard. So if we are working smart by being mindful of our energy when we step into a situation, we will move things faster. Now, this is where it gets a little tricky, because here's Isabella saying, yes, the timing is right for this new venture. And then we have the Baird. The Baird talks about our history. It's a card of storytelling. It's also a card of music. I want to offer this to my Geminis. Is there the potential that Gemini is very much wanting to rewrite their story? Oh, am I buffering you guys? Okay. I'm hoping you can see me. It's saying I'm buffering. Okay, I'm back. Because what I think this is about for Gemini is about looking at your being energy and how much am I not compromising? How much am I staying? Okay, thank you, Juan. How much am I staying in my lane of what I want to experience? Because Gemini, you can go back and look at both sides of the story. Now, I want to kind of change this Baird today, because I think that maybe it's time to dance and to sing about your story. It's time to allow yourself to celebrate the story. So because I want to put it this way, because that's my first position where I sit, and then is my potential final outcome. Yes, the timing is right for this new venture. A happy outcome follows your positive expectation. Celebrate a little bit, because for Gemini, in the opportunity, the obstacle, I have Crystal again saying, have faith and hope. There's more on the horizon that you can't see. And the forgiveness card. I don't do forgiveness, you guys. I feel like I always think this is a reconciliation. It's where a challenging situation has made me, it makes sense. It transforms what was once a hurt or something I felt victimized by, and it turns it into a powerful tool for me to use. And then we have Oceana saying to take action. You're in touch with your truth. This is in the angel's advice. Again, here we have Merlin, alchemy, balance, and justice. What is being offered to you is the realization of your dreams. But the challenge for Gemini is you're not going to get to know how that happens. Meaning it's all about your intention rather than your action and pushing forward. Saturn, your being energy, staying in the lane of what you want, having to display ultimate faith. And now I'm going to put it this way, because you guys, we have a natal chart, and that faith is part of what our journey is. It may be why we've all walking through this time right now, is to learn how to anchor into our connection to spirit. And that's where we start to see the results. This is the angel's advice. This is where it all starts to come together. And I really want to, so I'm going to tell you a quick story. I know this is getting to be a long video, but when I first started working for myself, it was around the time the first Frozen movie came out. And people would book readings, and I was so shocked that people were actually booking readings and that I was making money, that I got so excited, and I started listening to Let It Go from Frozen. And every night it was like this, I had a dance party, and I would play the song over and over again. I'd be, no right, no wrong, no rules for me. I'd be punching up at the sky. I had a lot of energy, and the more energy that I had, the more exciting, the more people booked. It's the same thing when we go down the dark road, because the energy builds there. So Gemini, dance, sing, celebrate your manifestation. It's coming. On to Taurus. I'm going to make these two quick because, again, I think last week somebody was kind of rough about me talking too much. Tassels. Okay, I don't know why I missed the conversation. Okay. Hey, Martina, good to see you. Okay. Here we go. Taurus, rising, sun, moon, and stelliums. I see Stephen wrote, I need to do a reading. I've shifted some slight verbiage in my life that I think has been quite powerful for me. When I say need, I feel like there's some sort of pulling energy that's a little challenging. If I say I get to do a reading, it feels like an opportunity. So if I'm in need of something, I always thank God and the angels for that thing. And then I say, I get to so I can shift that energy off of being obligatory or kind of, it feels like I drag one foot when I say that. Okay, Taurus, our first angel is Fiona. The second is Layla. The third is Aurora. Holy moly, are you kidding me? I'm literally going to have to go back and watch this and count how many times Aurora came out today. And the final is Isaiah. Okay. Okay, here we go. Oops. That's a good idea, Stephen. Okay, here we go. Fiona is being joined by the Hawk. Layla is being joined by Merlin. Again, Merlin. Aurora is being joined by the Joy card. And Isaiah is being joined by the Water Fairy. Okay, Taurus. Fiona says, now that you've asked God and the angels for help, be open to receiving their guidance. Okay? You deserve heaven's help. And then here is the Hawk. And oftentimes I'll say the Hawk is about rising above my fears. I don't think about it. Right now, I literally think, pay attention to the signs and the omens. Pay attention as you walk through your day. Anything you see 3 times, you hear 3 times, it hits you. It could be numbers. It could be a song. It could be an animal. It could be a phrase, anything you hear. Because I feel like it's the spirit's trying to get through to you, trying to somehow support you. Because here we have Layla, spend time in nature, spend time connecting with God and the angels. And then there's Merlin. This is balance through pressure. This is karma. And it's also, Merlin is the magical wizard. Okay, so as you focus with spirit, you're working in coordination, you're working in tandem, you're working as a team with God and the angels. Because in the angel's advice, Aurora is saying you're flying high right now. Don't descend. It may threaten others because you're breaking the box of thought. This is not a physical threat. I'm thinking outside the box. Everybody else thinks this, and I'm over here, and I'm prospering. I'm doing well. And they're looking at me like, how did you do that? It's because I was experiencing joy as I connect with God and the angels and know that this is sort of a relay race. You run a lap of belief, you hand spirit the baton to put things into action. They put things into action, then they pass the baton back to you because you get to go back into a place of belief. Because now, for my Tauruses, it is time to give birth to new ideas and new situations, and from a more intuitive place. I don't think this is your feelings, because Taurus, with Uranus traversing your sign right now, especially for those early born Tauruses, Uranus may have been making you feel anxious and weird, and then we've got the world changing at the same time. But I believe these changes are moving you in a direction that you've been asking for. And sometimes the disruption of what we have known and yet still wanted to shift feels, I don't know, it's very easy to feel scared and a little unsure right now. So this really feels more like a connection to spirit versus my fear-based feelings. Okay. Hi, Vanessa. Welcome. I'm so glad you joined us. First, your name is it Nessie Ray? Is that how you say it? Oh, that's sweet. Oh, welcome. I'm so glad you were here. Okay, so we're going on to our final sign, Aries. I am Teri Hunter. I'm an angel therapy practitioner. I connect with God and the angels to give you their advice for traversing the transits, the astrological transits that the other contributors talk about on the show. So I'm not technically an astrologer. I'm learning just like all of you guys. So I go backwards. I did this I don't know, quite a few retrogrades ago now, and it just kind of stuck for me. Just always kind of, my Libra balance says that Pisces always has to go last, so let's make them first. All right. I'm not doing personal readings here, but if anyone would like to book a personal reading with me, you can go to Lada's website, and I'm under the reader's menu under Teri Hunter. All right. Oops. Aries, our final sign of the day. Okay. For Aries, our first angel is Omega. The second is Mystique. The third is Serena. And the final is Archangel Michael. Well, those are new angel energies. Oh, Nessa Ray. It's two words. Okay. All right. Oop. Here we go. Now for Aries, we've got two of our magical unicorns here. This is pretty awesome. I'm an Aries rising, as y'all know. Omega talks about victory. Keep up the good work. Your desires coming to fruition. And that's joined by the horse. My goodness gracious, this is huge. Mystique is being joined by the burden card. Serena is being joined by the forgiveness card. And Archangel Michael is being joined by the dog. Okay. So this is a lot of horse energy in one reading. So this is another layer of when I talk about the signs and the omens that Spirit gives us, 3 or more things, pay attention to it. We have 2 horses here. Omega, again, talking about victory. And then the the horse, which is a card of, on the face of the card, it talks about delegating and what does it say? Accepting help from another and delegating authority. But I also see it as an intuitive animal. It doesn't follow fear. And I feel like it's telling me to go in a new direction. Now, here we have Mystique in the process. Here she says, keep up the good work, that expect miraculous solutions. And there's the burden card. I feel like for Aries, this is real. Serena talks about money and abundance in the Angel's Advice and the Forgiveness card. But I want to say this. For me, the opportunity is to trust the process, even though it's a burden right now. And then here is Serena. This is as I turn it over. This is in the God advice. This is the Angel's Advice position. And as I relax and I know that God's in charge, I will reconcile whatever is burdening me through the process. Because at the end of the day, Aries, you're going to be so excited that you stuck to your guns. You're going to be so excited to be Aries. You know, we get this sort of bad rap for being warriors. But, you know, what about spiritual warriors? Warriors that will not take a human fear-based perspective and hang on it. Because I feel so strongly that this unconditional love, loyalty, and sincerity is because I had the courage to believe in things that you can't see with the eyes, to trust the process, to know that God and the angels are watching over me. So let me give an example. Our earth angel, right? We have our earth angel who is in our tribe, you know, communicating with us, interacting with us, and being inspired by some of our stories. And we don't know that that's happening. So God and the angels are watching over us. You don't know how to be inspired. So, Aries, even if you may feel burdened by the process, meaning the process of the unknown, the in-between time, you're going to be good. And you're going to be super proud of yourself because you hung in there and you wouldn't take no for an answer. So I think this is about self-love. It's about courage. It's about not shaving off the edges of what makes an Aries an Aries. It's about using that dynamic, that strength, that tenacity, that in a way that makes you feel proud. That's how I put it. That's how I really feel like it's Archangel Michael. And you know, it's funny. I don't know if you guys remember the band. Oh my God, now David Lee Roth. Oh my gosh, I just total had a brain fart. I'm not going to do a session on Wednesdays anymore, guys. I feel like that there's just people are producing so many videos. I just felt like I was saturating y'all. So anyway, David Lee Roth is here in the form of Archangel Michael. Dang, why can't I remember that band? You guys help me out. And then there was Van Halen. It was Van Halen. Sorry. I had a brain fart for a second. Anyway, so overall for Aries, I feel like there is the potential that you may do a bit of a course correction or venture down a new road. And in doing so, there is victory to be had. There's a bit of a burden in the meantime, as you have to stand in a bit of faith, waiting for God and the angels to pass the baton back onto you for your next action. But I believe you're going to start to really love the rhythm of having this courage and having this teammate that you can't see. Okay. Thank you guys for helping me with the Van Halen stuff. Thanks for being here today. It always is just such a pleasure for me to spend time in your energy and to feel you guys. I just don't think I would love this as much if I was just doing videos. So there's my Uranus in the 5th house of Leo, being a little bit different and independent. So I will be back next Sunday, same bat time, same bat channel. That's 11 a.m. Pacific time. And I look forward to Patricia S. Please contact me. I'll be putting my information below once the video does its processing thing, and we'll schedule your session. And so I want to send a lot of love and light to you all this week. Enjoy this new moon. set your intentions for the next 2 weeks before our full moon. And we've got that eclipse coming in June too. So we'll have more fun things to go through before this is all over. All right. I'll see you next week. Namaste. Love. Peace out.